in some countries like Thailand, Malaysia, or Philippines, development of renewables has been going on for a longer period of years. Countries like Indonesia are moving in that direction relatively slow. And we can see lately boom in Vietnam, especially in solar. So I believe that all these countries in ASEAN need to work together in realizing renewable energy integration network, and especially need to work on regulations in all countries, and to finalize mutual goals in the industry. So I do not see it happening in near future, I would say. I mean, you have countries which are like Indonesia archipelago, which don't even have a. I mean, there are many grids in Indonesia as a country, from Java Bali grid to Sumatra grid and other islands, and just to integrate all the grids of all countries in ASEAN would be extremely challenging. That is one of the challenges. Potentially, like you mentioned, Singapore, Malaysia, just because they are relatively small countries, that could have kind of interconnected grid, where Malaysia eventually would be able to export to Singapore. But then, as well, there are some ideas of exporting energy, renewable energy, mostly solar, from Riau province, Batam or Bitan Island, as well to Singapore. But getting all ASEAN in kind of one grid, I mean, it's technically, besides politically, but as well, it will be technically challenging. For example, in Europe, where we can see that, for example, Denmark had a surplus just from wind, and then they export to Germany because the grid is stable and interconnected. As well in Indonesia, as well in ASEAN, we do not have smart grids in all countries. So for something like that, we need smart grids to be present in all ASEAN countries. So we can see in number of countries, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, there have been supportive regulations and for years, where we can witness development of renewables. Lately, we've seen in Vietnam a boom in solar by adding in 3 years over 5 gigawatt of utility scale grid connected, and over 9 gigawatts in rooftop solar, just because the regulation, government is supporting the renewables and solar with the regulation. In some other countries, the regulation has been inconsistent, and which kind of the developers and private investments see this as a risk. So number one and most important is government support and consistent regulations. I would say it's early beginnings. There are some trading platforms in Southeast Asia, mostly in Singapore, and we can see that the renewable energy generating facilities already registered, including from Indonesia or Singapore or other Southeast Asian countries, ASEAN countries, but it's far from developed world. Definitely, we need a base, and in ASEAN, in many countries that is called, and all ASEAN countries are looking to shift to renewables more and more. So I will not say what will be the best way for every country, but maybe more focusing on some of the cleaner base energy like natural gas, or even like pump up storage, hydro could be as well, even it's renewable in a way. It could be one of the solutions. And there have been some discussions in Southeast Asian countries to focus on nuclear. And I hear stories from Indonesia and some other countries, but nothing serious has been concluded so far. I do believe that it's becoming already competitive in some countries, especially large-scale utility projects. And we can see solar being more and more efficient compared to thermal. especially if we compare current solar development with some older, less efficient coal-fired power plants. So yes, I believe that solar is catching up, and it's if not, it will be very soon equal cost as investment in thermal.